Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to Truth, Trust, and Trajectory with your girl Shakan B. Today I am very honored to be having Gracia Sotomayor on my podcast. She is a true testament to the power of reinvention, resilience, and passion. So I'm going to bring her to the stage so she can go ahead and introduce herself. All right. Hi,
Hi.
Gracia.
Hi, Sabine. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really happy and really excited to be here with you to share this time with you. Thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely. So, do you want to just introduce yourself real quickly to the audience? What is it that you currently do? And then, yeah.
Sure. So, I am Gracia Sotomayor. I am Peruvian and I am currently living in Belgium. So, the reason why I left my country and I came to Europe was to learn artistic cycling. I studied science of communication. I specialized in digital marketing, but at a certain point, I realized that that was not my life, and I decided to pursue my passion, which is artistic cycling, and unknown sport, but official sport. And I am training this sport since 5 years ago, more or less. And now I represent my country in international competitions, and I promote this sport in Latin American countries. So
Wonderful. So, initially, I wanted to talk about the early life and career shift. Because at one point you started your career in digital marketing. What was the turning point that made you leave everything behind and start over again?
Um, I think that I've always done things the way that I was told. So
Mhm.
I followed all the rules and I was living the life that was supposed to be a normal, secure, safe lifestyle. But I had a really strong depression and I couldn't find a reason why I was feeling so depressed the whole time. um, I remember even thinking to myself, why am I feeling so sad if I have it all? I have like this great job, I have this great partnership, I have my independence, I have my own money. Why am I feeling so sad the whole time? And it was like, I don't know if you know this book, The Little Prince. There is this character which is the drunk man, and he drinks to forget the shame that he feels of being always drunk, and
Mhm.
it goes in circles. And I felt really sad for feeling bad about feeling sad, and
Yeah.
it just like I don't know. It's got out of control, and I realized that that wasn't a life worth living. I didn't want to live that way. And that's when I realized, okay, if I don't want to live, I think that that's a really big sign that I have depression.
Yeah.
I couldn't concentrate, so my only option was to quit my job because even when people ask me, "Hey, how are you doing?" that triggered me, and I started crying. And I was like, "Let's just talk about the job, the campaign, what's coming
Yeah.
next," because I can't even answer that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
was
So like, did you associate your depression with your job? Um,
I associate the depression not with the job. I really loved my job, but to the lifestyle that I had, the fact that I was just following the rules, the fact that I was just doing things the way they are supposed to be and not following my own way. So the corporative ladder, I was like, why am I even climbing it? I don't understand. Um, I, I am doing what I am supposed to do. I'm studying. Had really good grades. I graduate. I look for a job. I found a job, and I um, had a better position every few months. I mean, not even that long, and I went from being yeah, from just starting to work to being a supervisor in 5 years, and it went really fast, and I had it all. So I think that really shows me that success is not just this one path, this one goal that society tells you.
Mm,
I think that success has to do with our own values, and we
mm,
need to listen to ourselves to know which are our own values and which way to follow. So yeah, I think that that was the depression, not my job. I really loved my job.
mm. Yeah, no, definitely. I think there's definitely a very taxing thing that takes place when you find yourself stuck in. Is this echoing? Does it sound like it's echoing?
Yeah,
Yeah, my kid was playing with my thing, but yeah, when you find yourself stuck in like a robotic type of uh pattern, it definitely it seems very taxing, you know. And it I think for me, because I was also at one point working in a job that I really didn't like. Um, I personally didn't like the job. The pay was good, so I was able to pay my bills.
I
Able to pay my bills pretty well. But, sorry. Okay, that's
it's
better. My son was playing with my things.
okay.
Anyways, let me ask you the next question. Moving from Peru to Germany is a big leap. What was the biggest challenge you faced in that transition?
Oof. There are a lot of challenges. I think that the fact that I get to know myself in a different way, in a different place,
Mm,
finding my own strength. I think that that's a challenge, a really positive one, but it's a hard process to get to know yourself, because you are living this life that it's how it's supposed to be, and suddenly you live it all. And I remember feeling not sad, not really sad. I remember feeling really excited about what was coming.
yeah.
And I actually feel that way again. I feel really excited, not knowing what's going to happen. But
Mm,
the challenges were to really be flexible and to adapt to new situations, to realize that, okay, I don't have my friends here. I don't have the people that support me just like 5 minutes away, like I used to have in Peru. Um, Another challenge was not being able to communicate in my own language. So yeah, my mother language is Spanish.
mhm,
English is it's quite okay, but I was in Germany and I was surrounded by people who didn't speak English that fluently or with another accent, or they just prefer to speak German. So I needed to learn the language, and it was really frustrating also to know that I can think as a grown up, but I cannot express as a grown up. That
mm,
was really frustrating. Um, Another challenge was when I started learning artistic cycling. Most of the um, athletes they start when they are 5 7 8 years old, so I was surrounded by kids and I saw how they started to improve their figures and their exercises twice as fast as I did, and not to compare myself. I know that they were small kids and they yeah, the process of learning is different, but even the grown-ups, to see the things that they can do, and thinking I am never going to be able to do that. It was really challenging not to compare myself or to feel bad about the things that I couldn't do yet. Um, but also, you learn that it's not a competition against the other person, but how you improve by your own. And I also realized that this is the whole thing. I am not going to be the world champion, but that's not my mission. My mission is to open doors, to inspire generations that can aim to be
mm,
world champions. Somebody
mm,
has to be the first one, and I am honored to be the first one in this sport. Yeah, in artistic cycling. So those were to be away from family and friends, to be away from the warmth of my own culture, to find my home in myself, in me, to realize I carry my home here in my heart,
mm.
was a really hard process, challenging one, but I think that at the end everything was worth it, and I learned a lot. And yeah, I'm really happy about how hard it was because yeah, I mean, I learned a lot.
Yeah. Did you have any doubts or fears about making such a dramatic career shift, and how did you push through them?
I think that um, what my family told me was scary because they didn't believe in me. I personally knew that I could always go back to an old life that I didn't want it to.
Mhm,
I don't know if yeah, I wanted to leave everything behind. I knew that I felt that that was the way. I think that that's when my intuition started to wake up, and I really wanted to know new things.
mhm,
I was not sure what was going to happen, and that really excited me. But my family, they were afraid, and they told me, "You're going to come back in 2, 3 months. What? Why are you selling all your stuff?
mhm,
You're overreacting. You have a degree. Why are you going to the unknown?" And I think that their fear was big, was really big, and I understand that. So that made me doubt. Uh, um, but something inside me told me, no, you have to go, and anything is possible. And that's there's a lot of magic when you believe in that. And you have no idea what's going to happen. It's going to be hard, it's going to be easy, you're going to have good luck, or no. But I think that the most important part is that you trust and you believe in yourself. And when you do that, then you know that you have the tools within you to accomplish whatever you want to do. um, you have to know that it's not going to be easy. I knew that it wasn't going to be easy. I knew that there were going to be challenges, but I believed in me, and mostly because I was really looking forward to what was coming. That the inspiration that this sport caused in me was so big that I really wanted to pursue that. So that kept me motivated, and I also started to train the sport. And when you train the sport, I think that you also learn from the values
mhm,
that the sport brings, and it really showed me, okay, I'm afraid, but I am learning it, and I am not alone. A trainer is here by my side, and I can see my own progress, and how this figure, which is really scary for me, I can do it now.
mhm,
And that just shows me that I can do anything
mhm.
in a certain way. So yeah, you just grab fear by the hand and you go.
I love that. So I do have like one additional question. So for anyone that's not aware of like what is artistic cycling? And then why did you choose Germany, like to move to Germany? Is there like a connection between artistic cycling and Germany?
Yes, so it all started, I would say, in 2018 and 19. I saw in a magazine a really small article about artistic cycling. Artistic cycling, you can imagine it as gymnastics on the bike.
Mm,
So you use the bike in different ways. We are used to see that we are grabbing the handlebar and we are sitting on the saddle. But in artistic cycling, you go forward, you go backwards, you use the bike as in a wheelie or completely standing up, and you even do handstands on the bike. You stand up on the saddle. What one of the figures for each one of my figures, I stand up on the saddle and on the handlebar. So it's really amazing for me. I saw it and I was, oh my god, this is so incredible. This must be photoshopped because I saw a picture, and
yes.
I thought that that was impossible. And I started to do some research in Spanish. Spanish, it would be ciclismo artístico, so artistic cycling, and I found nothing. I started to do some research in English, and I found nothing. So I saw on Instagram a girl that was doing this sport, and I texted her and I told her what's that, and she told, well, this is an official sport and it's mostly in Germany. So it was
Wow.
Germany in my mind, and I actually was really lucky. I left my country, and my first stop was Colombia, and I think that it was really perfect that I went there because I was outside of my my circle, but I was in a society that is also really warm, and I made really good friends during the time that I was living in Colombia, and from there I had the chance to travel to Europe. In my mind was Europe because I was the first time that I was in that place, and my second stop was Spain, and from Spain I went to Belgium to watch the Artistic Cycling World Championship, and it was amazing. I cried the whole weekend because it was really inspiring to see the control and the focus that the athletes had with their own bodies and the bike. And I contacted this organization that is called Indoor Cycling Worldwide, and they told me if there are kids in Peru that want to learn the sport, we can give you bikes and the information. The really big advantage that I had was that I speak English. So I said, okay, that's going to be my mission. Um, I moved to Germany. I started training the sport. I started training kids, and then Corona came. So there were these months that I couldn't train. I could Nobody could do anything. So it was that was also really challenging. I was also, what am I doing here? What am I not in my country? I'm here on my own. It was really hard. But this organization, they really helped me, and they asked me to translate the rules of this sport. So I translated everything into Spanish, and I realized that it was the first time that there was information about this sport in my own language.
Mhm.
um, and I realized, why am I going to go to Peru to promote this sport? This is Spanish, and there are more than just one country that speaks Spanish. So I decided to promote sport in Latin American countries, Spanish speaking countries.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that process of translating the rules, it took me more than 6 months. um, but I think that I know the rules of the sport from A to Z. So
Oh, wow. And how long did it take you to kind of master the rules? Because you would have had to read them in a different language, right? So you,
yes,
okay.
so I used two different languages to do the translation. I think that the rules were written in German, but
Okay.
because it's an official sport, the official languages of the rules are in French and in English. So I cannot French, but I used the English version and the German version in order to translate it into Spanish. So it took me around 6 months to do that translation. That's the only thing that I did for those 6 months that I couldn't train, I couldn't study, I couldn't do anything. Um, so I was just focusing on the rules,
Mhm.
and would say that a year after that, I took another class to be part of the jury for this sport. So I can also be part of the jury in the competitions.
Mm.
Um, so that also gave me another point of view to see or be more aware of the technical stuff of this sport. Also, because of internet, because of Instagram, people came to me and they told me how I wanted to do the same that you're doing. I wanted to learn artistic cycling, but I don't speak English. That's why I couldn't. So then I realized, okay, it's a privilege that I have, that I can speak more or less this language. So that's why I also said, if I have the information, I can only give it to the people, because I can build a bridge. I'm not the only one who wants to know more about the sport, but I had the privilege that I could.
Exactly. Wow. I love the fact that you were able to kind of learn, German, and obviously like take the rules, break them down, and then distribute them so that your people can also be able to benefit and learn from it. Because I mean, it common sense says, hey, if I like this, and there are so many people from one area already playing it, like this should be shared with everybody. What was it like competing in the UCI Cycling World Championship? Do you have any memorable moments from the experience?
Yes, so I was really lucky. Usually, the process to participate in an international competition is you need to qualify, and in order to qualify, you need to compete against the other athletes from your own country. So,
Mhm,
since I am the first Peruvian that does this sport, I don't have competition yet. So I just qualified directly to represent my country. My first competition was in 2021. It was in Stuttgart in Germany, and I remember feeling so nervous in front of those 2 to 3 thousand people, and I went into the competition area thinking about what my trainer told me. You can do it. Just go figure after figure, just one figure at a time. I was so nervous and I thought all the figures that I can do, so the tricks or the figures, they are so easy in I they are easy to learn. Um, so I started laughing about myself, like
mhm,
why am I even so nervous that I can do this.
mhm,
And then I started smiling, and that kind of became my signature, because people is so focused and so serious, but I'm smiling a lot because I am nervous
mhm,
and because I am having fun. Like I realize it doesn't matter, I am already starting with more than, I don't know, 20 or 40 points difference. Like the other person was 20 or 30
mhm.
points more above my points. So I knew that I was going to be the last one anyway. So I said, I'm just going to have fun. And I had fun. And I think that, yeah, that for me was really really special. My very first competition, and then I participate. I still participate, and in 2023, the Cycling World Championship took place in Glasgow, in Scotland, and I had the honor to bring two other athletes from Latin America. So one girl from Uruguay and one other man from Peru, and that was really really big deal for me. They both started training the sport because I went to visit them and I teach them. I taught them what I knew,
Mhm,
and then they came, we trained together and they were able to participate. So it was the first time that two flags from Latin America and three athletes from Latin America participated in the world championship, um, in the indoor cycling world championship, and that was a really special moment for me. And I decided that I am going to continue representing my country until someone comes, who can achieve more than I do. So I am kind of looking and encouraging people to learn the sport, and yeah, trying to promote this sport.
That's awesome. Can you define the discipline and mindset required for artistic cycling?
Can you repeat that, please?
Can you describe the discipline and mindset required for artistic cycling?
So the mindset, you mean?
Mhm. And the discipline that's required.
I think that you have to overcome your fears,
Mhm,
because I mean, you know that there's a risk that you can fall because you're using the bike in a different way. um, I think that you need to know that you need to train hard, and that you're going to do stuff that you've never done before. And I mean like even using the bike like backwards,
mhm,
sitting on the handlebar, um, and going backwards, like even that is like, wait, but something is not right because you're not used to that. So I think that when you just realize that your body is able to do anything, then you say okay, then you click with a figure. So you have to be open to do things in a different way, and I love that. I really love that, because I think that that can be applied to life. Things
Oh yeah.
can There's no only one way to do stuff. Also, it's not going to be easy, so you have to continue training over and over and over again. And sometimes you can say like, "Ah, I don't want to do this anymore." But then you know that you do want to do that. I mean, it's really hard, and probably from 5, 10, or 15 times that you're trying this figure, one goes right, and
Hmm.
then you take that one and you say, okay, I can do that. But it takes time, and for some figures you learn them in, I don't know, 2 weeks, and from other figures you learn them in 5 years. Like, it really can take a lot of time for you, for your body to get to know a figure. So you have to keep on going, keep on going, keep on going, and never give up. So I think that's also really valuable, yeah, value, powerful value that the sport teaches you. Um, there's also a sense of community. The we all the athletes that train the sport, we are so not that many people, so it's like a small family, but it's really nice because it is a family, and we are there for each other, and we are not comparing ourselves with the rest, but we are encouraging us to continue. So I think that there's this sense of community, which is also something that you apply to real life. I think that the help that I received when I started training this sport is what I want to give back, and that's why I want to share this sport, to Latin American countries. So yeah, to have all these things in your mind, it's really important to learn the sport.
Hmm. Absolutely. Leaving behind stability for a passion-driven life is something many people dream about, but they never do. What advice would you give someone afraid to take that leap?
Take a deep breath and listen to yourself. Yeah, yeah. It's hard. I mean, it's not easy, but once you jumped, it's like a, okay, I did it. So just trust yourself, because you really have the power to do anything. Like, really, 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 I am convinced that everything is possible. Don't listen to your mind, but follow your heart. I think that that's the most important, because we stay here, in our minds, and we are thinking, but if something goes wrong, if I cannot come back, if what's you think about all the ifs that can go wrong,
Oh
but
yeah.
you have to trust yourself,
Mm.
because it's possible. There's only one life, and it's really possible. Everything. So
Wow.
yeah, just trust. Take a deep breath and trust.
That's it. I love that. How has this journey changed you, not just as an athlete, but also as a person?
I think it's, the community, that is in this sport. They really support, um, me, and that showed me that helping is normal. So I think that, things that changed within me was, yeah, how I trust now myself more. I follow my intuition. I think that my intuition was really developed, in the last few years. uh, I think that there's a really big change in my mind, being a woman coming from Latin America, especially Peru, which is really traditional mindset society. I have three brothers, so there was always a difference, clear difference between being a woman, being a man. Um, I think that, I never trust myself. I always thought that I was below the other. I don't know how to really describe that, but a woman also always have to be on service. Um, not really listen to themselves, but be there for the others. And we
Yeah.
usually put ourselves not in the first place, but in the second, third, or last.
Place. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I think that when I started to listen to myself and to realize that I was not living the life that I wanted, but that I was told to. I think that really changed something in my mind and made me realize, wait, there is more than what I've been told, and I want to know what more there
Yeah.
is. So I need to discover that, and that's something that changed. So I looked inside, and then I realized, wait, but what I am feeling, other people can also feel that, especially women.
Mhm.
We don't need to be so emotionally dependent on the partner. So I realized, if I have this power, then my family, my cousins, my friends, they also have this power within them. They need to know that. It's so amazing. The way I feel, it's so amazing. I love myself so much, and that's something that 5 or 7 years ago I couldn't say.
Mhm.
Um, and if I have this feeling, it's so amazing. I need to share it, So I think that that's one of the biggest motivational things that changed. That I needed to look inside in order to share it from inside to the outside, so other people can also know that life is beautiful. It's not easy, but it's
Yeah, for sure.
beautiful.
um, so about your children's book, what inspired you to write it, and what is the message that you hope that readers take away?
Yeah, so I wrote a book for my inner child. The
Mm,
book is called The Adventures of Michaela and Her Bicycle,
mm,
and it's about this girl that has a magical bicycle, and there are 11 stories, and in each story she learns a value. And it's I had a second depression. It wasn't as big as the first one, but I had a second depression last year. I think that it's part of the process of growing.
yeah.
Life doesn't go in a straight line. Life goes with ups and downs, and I had a really deep down last year, and I needed to heal myself. And I realized, okay, I learned a lot, but there are still some beliefs, limiting beliefs, that are within me, and I need to break free from them. So I started writing this book for my inner child. Actually, the bike, it's a really powerful tool for me, because I was dependent on my brothers and on my father for everything. And when I started riding my bike, I didn't depend on them to take me to where I wanted to go. And
Mm,
I realized, oh wait, I can move on my own. Like, probably I'm overreacting a little bit, but I was not allowed to take public transportation, because that's how dangerous it was in my parents' mind. Of course, it is dangerous for a woman, but I think that you cannot limit a person because you are scared. As a father, you have to encourage um, the
gross. Yeah.
person to do what they can. Of course, you have to look out and everything, but it's better to say do it carefully than don't do it because it's dangerous.
Oh yeah.
So I still needed to break free from these limiting beliefs, and I started writing this book to yeah, for my inner child. And I thought, I wish that I read this when I was a kid,
Mm,
but now my inner child is reading it. So this book is about, yeah, values that you learn through the bike. Just to give an example, she's Michaela. She's riding her bike, and she met a group of kids, and they are going on a race, and one kid is left behind. And instead of she saying, okay, I'm going to be the first one, she gives him some, she motivates him come on, you can do it, you can do it. And that's actually what happened to me when I first participated in my the first alicat
Mhm.
that I participated in Peru. Someone was next to me telling me, you can do it, you can do it. And I was between the cars going in this street. It was really crazy for me, and I remember feeling so scared. But then hearing this voice from someone who was telling me, "You can do it," and I said, "Okay, I can do it," and it really taught me that I can.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of the values. Another value is, for example, empathy. That when we put ourselves in the other's place, then we can understand the point of view of the other person, and that's something that usually we don't think about. We are really self-centered, and we think about how are we feeling, but we don't take into consideration how the other person is feeling or why the other person reacts in a certain way, because we don't know actually what are the experiences that the other person had. So empathy is really important. Yeah, and those kinds of values. um, yeah, also to trust herself, to trust in her intuition, to take the best of the words that she heard about herself, and not the worst but the best.
Mhm.
So I I learned a lot while writing this book, and yeah, I really hope that kids learn also. There are some words that are a little bit hard to understand, like intuition, but because of the context, you can really understand them. And also, as a grown up, it's really easy to read. It's a really short 11 stories.
I love that. So where can the audience find your book to purchase it?
So this is a first book that I published, and people can find it on Amazon. It's written in four languages: in Spanish, English, German, and in Dutch.
Okay.
Um, and it's yeah, it's on Amazon. So it's print on demand. So once you order it, it's printed, and that's how people can find it on Amazon.
That is
Uh,
awesome.
yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. And the fact that, one of the things is empathy and strength as a message to children is a very huge thing, especially during the times we live in. I feel like those are lessons that kind of get pushed to the background, right? Because everything is all about, oh, it's, either fear mongering or self centeredness. So I love the fact that and you put that out into the world. I'm sorry, I'm losing my. So looking forward, what's next to you? Any big goals or projects on the horizon?
Well, yeah, I just started my career as public speaker.
Okay.
I want to inspire the world. I want to inspire the same way I feel inspired by the world and things that happened in artistic cycling. I think that we are in times of big change as a society. I
Mhm.
think that we are really, like, the moment where we are now. It's been really polarized, and there's a lot of people fighting against each other just because we have so much inside us, and so much fear. And I think that when we share with the others, and yeah, with empathy, and when we motivate ourselves, when we inspire the society, when we empower
Mhm.
the others, I think that we can really build a better society, and that's really needed at this time. Yeah, which we are as a society, and I don't mean Peruvian society or Latin American society. I mean the world. Like, the world is coming to this crisis, and the only thing that we can do is our best. And I mean to share with the other ones, to share our words, our message, to understand each other. I think that that's really important. So I want to share that message through my speech. I am also training and continue promoting, yeah, the sport. I want to see the sport as an Olympic sport, but we need to be more countries in order to do that. And I really believe that this sport can be a tool of empowerment. So that's why I want to promote this sport. I am writing more books. I am writing more books about artistic cycling. I am uh, writing the second part of the Adventures of Michaela. It's going to be more focused on emotions
Mhm.
and adventures. Uh, and yeah, and looking for places and stages where I can share my story, where I can share why helping should be normal, why yeah, success has a different meaning for each person, and there is not only one way, but different ways as different people we are in the world, and how important it is to love yourself, to listen to yourself and love yourself, and act from there sites. So yeah, those are the projects that are in my mind
I love
for
that.
this year.
Definitely love that. If a young girl in Latin America is listening to this and dreams of following an unconventional path, what would you say to her?
If a girl is sorry, can you repeat?
Mhm. If a young girl in Latin America is listening to this and dreams of following an unconventional path, what would you say to her?
Take a deep breath and listen to yourself. It might seem as if you are alone, but you are not. You just need to really believe in yourself, and you will attract the things that are for you and your own tribe, the people that think like you. It's not going to be easy, but you are not alone. Like really, you're not alone. We are all here. We're all in this journey of self discovery, and it's really important that you keep on going. Trust in yourself and reach out for help if you need to, um, and don't give up. Especially that, don't give up because everything will be all right. Not easy, but it will be all right.
Yeah.
Um, you have the power in yourself, like really. Yeah,
Wow.
it's important that we know that.
So I have just two more questions for you with the public speaking. What made you kind of go into that avenue? Was that like a premeditated? Did you already have it planned, or did it kind of just like drop into your lap?
I love that. I am connecting dots from when I had this first depression in Peru, and then I started meeting a lot of people that use the bike, and I remember saying or thinking everybody has a message in them, but not everybody has the target or the same
Yeah,
public. So with that message, I think that message is according to our own experiences, and I think that the way life has treated me was it started in a conventional way, but now I do a lot of different things that I never thought that I would, and I think if I can, everybody can. So I want them to know. I wrote down before that or during this depression. I wrote down a paper. I like my coffee strong, like my words, like my mind, like my speech.
hey,
I have no idea in which moment I mean why I wrote that down, but during last year that I had this low moment again, and I moved out and I started again. I was looking at some papers and I found that paper that I wrote in 2017. I'm like, this is it. I want to be speaker. I want to share my message.
yeah,
And back in 2017, I knew that. I mean, my intuition knew that. And
hmm,
now, 2024, I just discovered it. So I know that this is what I need to do. Um, I started doing some research, and I followed and I certificated by the Big Talk Academy in New York, and it was best decision ever. Um, I shared my story with different people, and they told me it's inspiring, and now I dare more because you dared. So I think that it is important for me to share my message, my story, because if I can, everybody can, and I am absolutely convinced of it. And that's why I want to share. That's why I want to take this path of public speaking.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
I love that. So, my last question: how do you want to be remembered, not just as an athlete, but as a person? Like, what is the legacy that you're trying to leave behind?
I want people to remember that I think that everything is possible.
Mm.
So they also need to believe that,
Yeah,
and there's magic in not knowing what's going to happen, because that means that you like really can build your own future. Um, and I want to be remembered as someone who shared. I don't want to keep things for myself. I want to share things because I think that when we share, they grow. Like when you're happy and you share that with somebody else, then the emotion
yeah,
grows.
yeah. Exactly,
So
exactly.
I think that that's important. So that's how I would like to be remembered. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you're making a huge impact as it is, and I want to thank you so much for taking time and taking up space on this platform today, and in the world in general. My hope and my wish to you is that you continue taking up all of the space in the world as much as you possibly can, making an impact on everybody, as many people as you can. Change lives, change your own more and more and more, because that's those are the steps that collectively people have to take in order to make the world a better place. So you're a very, very valuable asset, and I love you. I appreciate you, and I thank you so much for being on here today. To my audience, please, guys, make sure that you leave a quick comment in the comment box and let me know what your biggest takeaway was from this interview today. What is the your favorite thing that Gracia said today that was most heartwarming and touching? And then, as always, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, and until next time, bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.